welcome to another episode of this podcast. Today, my guest is Abby McDonald. Abby is the president and CEO at the Dynamic Synergy Group, and she's been helping a lot of companies with the talent, acquisition, talent recruitments, and helping out people with building their careers as well. Welcome to the call, Abby.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Gurmeet, for inviting me here. I do appreciate, and hopefully I can, provide some tips in a very unpredictable job market right now.
Definitely. Well,
Yes.
everybody's, there's one thing with the COVID is everybody's trying to recruit the teams again. They're trying to build their teams again because we all have to make up for that loss of revenue or trying to grow their businesses. I think
Yes.
this is one area where it's very critical. A lot of business leaders that they're trying to build a team, but they need to find right talent for the team to make sure these are right people on the teams, right?
Sure, absolutely. Well, we've definitely found ourselves in a very unique cycle, if you will, as a result of the repercussions of COVID-19.
Yeah.
And this is a very unique situation because, a lot of it has almost, I don't want to use the word forced because that's such a strong word, but it's almost forced us to reevaluate the way we structure things, in this instance, opportunities and talent acquisition in particular, and how to retain talent. So, for example, some of the issues that has arisen out of this repercussions is a potential hybrid workforce. So candidates, work-life balance has become a quote unquote perk that a lot of employees find appealing. So having said that, a lot of companies have had to integrate that into their, their planning. So, adding some flexibility for work-life balance for their employees that have families in particular. Now, in some industries, it's not feasible to have that extreme type of setup as a remote workforce. And I can tell you that having dealt with the clients that we work with, and in the instance of, for example, a manufacturing company or a distribution company, or sometimes a supply chain management and logistics, where they physically have to be in the office. So companies are going to have to think of creative ways on how to create a win-win type setup or environment for their employees, and to make attractive offers for their candidates, to retain candidates, because as a result of this, the talent market has become more competitive as well, right? So employers have to think of out-of-the-box creative ways to attract talent, and this is something that we help our clients with in terms of providing them with the market intel and the feedback that we're getting on the candidate marketplace in terms of what their needs are, what the market would dictate in terms of what their competitors are offering, and so on, to give them the pulse of what's happening so that they can put together some attractive offers and retain the best top tier talent, right? So anyways, that's what we're finding.
So we're seeing that, when the COVID hit, we had to work from home. It was just not an option. What do you see from candidate standpoint? Are they, what are you hearing from new candidates? They're looking to go back, or are they willing to? They only want to work from home. When they're applying for a job, are they demanding some of those items that I only want to work from home. I don't want to go back to office yet, because a lot of people got comfortable working from home.
Yeah.
So where do you see that requirement, or where do you see that employers may have to sacrifice some of those things, or realign their process if they're gonna bring people in office, or they're gonna compensate it from home?
Well, that's a great question, Gurmeet. What I'm finding in our discussions with candidates is that we're getting a mixed bag review, believe it or not. There are some candidates, for example, they've enjoyed spending time with their kids, but they'd like their life back. So there's a mixed bag of, it's like, okay, you can go to camp and you can go to school, and I can go into the office and I can see my colleagues. So it's a mixed bag of reactions. For some, they felt a bit of cabin fever working from home and having difficulty managing the boundaries, if you will, between work and home with the kids, the pets, and so on. And some prefer to have that boundary in place to be more productive and to focus on their work. But then there are also candidates that share that they found it tremendously better at creating a work-life balance with their kids. I was chatting with a candidate recently, who has kids, and they found that, hey, I don't have to rush into work with the traffic and everything, and because my child starts school at such and such time, and it's easier just to to do that and still do my job and work from home. So I would say it's about, believe it or not, about a 50-50 that I'm finding. Yeah. Some are done with the experiment, if you will, from working from home, and they want to go and have lunch with their peers and colleagues, and do that. And then there are some that love the work-life balance. So it's a mixed bag.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm hearing. I think we're still yet to see that where it's going to go. Once we open the economy. But if you can share some of the challenges that you see before COVID, business leaders or they were experiencing when they were looking for a talent, or has those challenges changed during the COVID? Or what challenges do you see that are coming once we open the economy? So, what is the top challenges that you see in your space that people are struggling with?
Yeah, well, that's another good question. Without question, there are challenges that occurred before, one of which has been an ongoing challenge of the labor skill shortage, which is occurring across the country. So this has been an ongoing issue that's been happening. And in some industries, it's more pronounced than others. Having said that, so they've had to look overseas, for example, and expand their talent recruitment strategies to allow for more room for overseas employees to retain. So also what some of the challenges is the rise of AI, which has been a bit of an upside and a bit of a challenge as well. On the upside, it's fantastic in terms of providing a lot of market intel and data, which helps companies create some predictability in terms of acquiring talent. But then on the other side of the spectrum, also, it can create some biases in terms of the automated screening process, right? As a result of that. So right now, we're very much, I would like to use the word experiment phase with this AI until we can find a balance and leverage it as much as possible from a talent acquisition perspective. But I wouldn't say at the moment it's fully utilized in a capacity that is 100% clear. It's still in an experimental phase. So phase, yeah.
So Toronto is a tech hub, and many other industries. So where do you see, is this specific to certain industries that challenge that there's not enough talent, or is it across the board, or is it just general labor shortages? I've been seeing a lot of stats put in by government media that recently that when we open an economy, we're going to be shortage on a service industries. There's not going to be enough people to service. So where do you see those shortages are?
Sure. That's a great question. I would have to say the skill shortages are showing up more so on the skilled trades, in the for skilled trades type roles. However, that was an ongoing issue that was going on prior to COVID, but even now more so it's been pronounced. So having said that, to mitigate that and to decrease it's twofold, one of which is extending out to overseas, like we shared, as well as improving training and certification, because a lot of times with our local talent across Canada with respect to skilled trades, the challenge is a lot of them don't have the training and certification. So having said that, as a solution to that, as a matter of fact, I'm involved in a very exciting project and platform where we've partnered with an organization called Equal. where we plan on mitigating that problem and, providing a solution in terms of also providing the training and certification and guiding candidates to get them up to speed with the skills and to also fulfill the talent acquisition needs through new innovative and cutting edge creative methods to find the talent that we believe will be able to facilitate, and fulfill for our clients. So I hope that answers your question. I don't know.
No, that definitely, provides a lot of details, but from a business leadership standpoint, even before COVID, if you're growing business and you're trying to scale up, either you're working with talent agencies like somebody like you, or they're not working with anybody. Where do you see what reason do you see people usually not looking help like somebody like you? Somebody trying to recruit that, whether it's also companies who don't work. I'm trying to get to companies who don't work with that a team like yours. What options do they have that they go by, that they trying to justify, hey, listen, maybe I can do this, maybe I can approach it this way?
Oh, to find talent.
Yeah. What other options they go by?
Sure. What other options? Well, I'm pondering that without giving our secrets away.
Because normally, I can talk about ourselves.
Yes. Well, of course, I'm just kidding. So, I would say that, first of all, if you are a small business, for example, and you're looking to scale your business, and naturally you will need the talent to scale your business, you would want to have someone in place who is constantly looking for talent, screening, interviewing candidates. Okay.
It's an ongoing process.
Yes, in terms of it's going to be an ongoing process, and you're integrating that into your days, and you're setting aside, blocking out time for screening talent, and it never goes away. You're constantly looking for talent. Second of all, what I would suggest to small businesses, if they don't have the budget per se to hire an agency per se to find the talent for them, is when you're looking for talent, you want to find, there's a term in the industry, I haven't coined it, but it's called hiring full stack candidates. And what a full stack candidate is someone who is skilled in a number of different areas that you can utilize in a number of different departments, which will strengthen your team, because the best thing possible that an owner could have is having a team that understands all of the aspects of the business. So having said that, let me use an example.
Sure.
If you need, say if you're hiring for a customer service rep, okay, then integrate some admin responsibilities as well into that role. Create a hybrid type role, okay, where they're involved with the administrative responsibilities, or integrate even a little bit of light bookkeeping. Get them to do a little bit of AR, AP, and that's a win-win situation, because first of all, the win-win is that if this is like, say, a new grad, for example, that came out of college, they're gaining the skills, so they're hungry for it. They're learning. So that's the win for them, right? The win for you is now you are grooming, sorry about that, you're grooming a candidate that's well-versed in understanding your business. So anytime a customer gets on the phone, they're speaking with someone who's knowledgeable about all parts of your business.
Just not one part.
Exactly. So they're not being bounced around. So that is a way, if you're working with a lean budget, that I would recommend when you're looking for talent. Now, in terms of finding talent, LinkedIn, everybody's cruising on LinkedIn. I would recommend having a look at LinkedIn for talent as well. Or posting on a couple of the job boards as well. There's a couple job boards that you can use to attract talent. So that's what I would recommend if you're a small business that wants to grow and you have a bit of a lean budget that you're working with. That's what I would recommend. But I would make it integrated that you're constantly looking for good talent, constantly.
That's what I was trying to get to, that this is such a time-consuming process. Looking for ongoing talent is very time-consuming, and when you're building a business or you're trying to scaling the company, you're running against the time. Unless you are willing to commit half of your day to finding talent and recruiting talent and verifying all the stuff. If you don't have that much talent, it would make sense to some business leaders who simply save that time and outsource that process to you guys.
100%. And
to
this is
do
where
that.
our business comes in. That's the
Okay.
whole idea, and the solution that we're providing is because we know how time consuming it is. And
Mhm.
this is what we're doing 24/7. And we have the market research and we have the market intel, and we're talking to candidates constantly, developing relationships. And of course, we have the robust database.
Mhm.
So having said that, that's where the value comes in with partnering with an outsourcing recruitment company who can do that for you. This is what we do 24/7. So it alleviates the responsibility. And you'd be surprised that there are outsourced recruiting companies that are very cost effective.
Mhm.
Right. So, I would say if you're a small business and you plan on scaling, don't be, you'd be surprised. Reach out to a couple outsourcing agencies who can do it for you, because
Mhm.
in order to grow your business, you have to invest
Mhm.
into the business, right? So
Definitely.
the
Mhm.
costs, and if your goal is to scale, then 100% it's worth the investment,
Mhm.
because you're going to find the talent, and that's going to help you grow the business, which is
Mhm.
going to reflect in the performance of your business. So I would say it's a good idea, a good plan,
Mhm.
to hire someone to take care of that for you, and then take care of the stress of doing all the
Yeah.
planning
Yeah.
and all of that. Yeah.
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 So not running that as an ongoing process, one of the common mistakes I see that business leaders make over and over, that when I talk to them, is recruiting large companies, small companies. Beside that, you see any other mistakes that a business leader is always, making that when they're trying to recruit, looking for talent when you need it
Mhm.
may not be the right way of looking for talent.
Sure.
You want to find the talent before the problem arises, right? So,
Sure.
what do you see there? Any other mistakes do you see from their business owner standpoint?
Well, thank you. Thank you for asking that. And what I've observed over the years, what I've found is a good search assignment. When I mean good, means that you're delivering for your client. It begins with how you qualify the order.
Mhm.
Number one, the quality of the questions that you're asking. Number one. One of the principles that we're founded on is that we are a quality-based agency, because our concept is, first of all, we want to create a one-on-one feel. So we want to create a dedicated feel to our clients, 100% service-wise. So having said that, we are not the type of agencies that just want to throw candidates at a client and create a revolving door situation. We want to deliver. And in order to deliver, you have to be able to qualify the order. And what does that mean? What it means is by asking the right questions. I'll give you an example. I'll use that example that you mentioned about a company that wants to scale their business. If you're talking to a client and they say, okay, we need your assistance to hire some people, then naturally you're going to want to ask questions to find out a little bit about the why behind their hiring. You want to find out what is their current mandate and what is their objective to hiring this candidate, or these candidates, for example. Now, when you find out the why, then they're going to share with you, well, you know what, Abby, our profits have been down in this area, so we need to increase our revenue. So we need to get some hunter business development reps in place right now because we have some losses here.
Mhm.
Right? So naturally now you're already visually putting together the profile
Mhm.
and the skill set of what you need in this particular, or these candidates that you're hiring. So now when you're screening these candidates, you're looking for someone who is a business developer. They're a hunter, they're a door opener, they know how to close the business. And when you're screening them, now you're going to ask them questions like, what is your performance like? What is your book of business like? How quickly were you able to develop this business, and so on?
Mhm.
So you see, now the quality of questions are helping you fine tune the profile for the candidate. But you can
Yeah.
only find that out by asking the right questions. And this is an example of what my mentor, when I started out in the business, who was a veteran in the business, a pioneer in the search business, she had shared that the best search assignment where you deliver for the client comes down to the quality of the questions that you're asking the client and qualifying the order.
Interesting.
Because that eliminates a lot of time in the screening process and shrinks the amount of time in terms of delivering for the client. Right?
It's also good for the candidate who's looking for a position as well, so they get to know a little bit why they've been, given the offer the position, so they get to know a little bit about the company.
Absolutely. And then that leads me into, you just shared the candidate. What's in it for the candidate?
Yeah.
Right? It's not just about the client. It has to be a win-win. So what's in it for the candidate? So immediately now, you learn more about the candidate. Does the candidate have a family? Do they have flexibility? Are they a young growing family? Maybe they want to buy a home. Maybe they're driven, they're hungry.
You can
want to
find the
buy a
right
house.
match there. Yeah.
Yes, I just talked to a candidate about a job, and he said, well, this is my goal. I want to buy a house. So now all he can see is this house.
Yeah.
So it's like, show me how you're going to help me buy this house.
Yeah.
Even though that's not enough for, the money per se, isn't the only motivating factor, but you're getting to understand the needs of the candidate and what's going to make them happy. So naturally, as a recruiter now, you're going to upsell the perks of the commission to help them reach their goal.
Very interesting.
Right?
So talk about a little bit, how did you get into the talent recruitment? What you were doing before, if you walk through your journey, how do you get into this talent acquisition business?
Well, that's a good question. I got into this business by osmosis. They call it a happy accident. Because, well, not so happy, sad, because when I got out of university, my first job was actually in the accounting department for a company, and I was assisting the controller. And I was the controller's assistant, and I did, accounting, bookkeeping, AR, AP, all of that. And I assisted her with even the trading. She was doing some trading for the company as well. So I assisted her with that. And I found great interest in that. And then an opportunity came up in the financial services industry for an investment counsel. So then by osmosis, I decided, okay, I want a position in a financial service company. So I found a job at an investment counsel downtown, and I sat on the trading desk. And I assisted with the money market trading, ensuring that all the trades were closed on the money market trading desk, as well as the equity and the bond trading desk as well. So I was an assistant there. And then I had the aspiration of becoming a portfolio administrator. So I found another opportunity at a competitor and found another opportunity there as a portfolio administrator. And then I was let go after 7 days.
Wow.
After I left my cushy job.
Yeah.
And I was devastated. And ironically, because I believe the universe gives you whispers, at the time in my previous job, in my performance review, my manager said to me, she said, you're really great at this, because I was going all in to become a trader. And she said, you'd be great at this, Abby, but, I really think that I could see you running your own HR firm. And I thought, and I was 23 years old at the time. And I thought, get out of here. I don't want to do that. I want to become a trader. I want to wear all those nice, expensive suits and go have martinis for lunch. That's what I was thinking about, right? And then I got a rude awakening, and I got let go at this company. And it was a huge sign. It was like a crossroad. It totally changed my path. And ironically, I was referred by an old colleague of mine, and his mom had an agency, a recruiting agency. She goes, and he said, you would work really well in recruiting. You should work for my mom, you know? And she was a pioneer in the business, an incredible recruiter and HR professional. And she had a firm downtown on Bay Street. And she was actually, interesting enough, she was a pioneer and decided to give up her fancy office and run a home-based business. And this was like 30 years ago.
Mhm.
And her business partner at the time, she was retiring because she wanted to do some missionary work in Honduras for 6 months of the year. And she was very much a philanthropist. And her business partner at the time took me under her wing, and I worked there. And that's how I got into the business. And then about 6 years, I never intended, it just happened. I never intended to stay in this business this long. I thought I was just going to be there for 6 months. She said, work for me.
Wow.
I'll show you everything about the business.
Nice.
And then you can do whatever you want. And I stayed with her for 6.5 years, and I started my own business. That's how I got into the business. Yeah.
Yeah. So important to have a mentor or somebody can walk you through how it's done. And, it cuts time that it's going to take you to build a company. It's just so important.
It's so important. And she was one of the pivotal mentors in my life at the time, because she taught me all of the nuts and bolts about this business. And I can still hear her words in the back of my head. Abby,
Don't do this. Yeah.
It's all about doing the right things all the time, consistently. She'd always say that to me, It's all about doing the right things at the right time, consistently. She'd always say that.
Very interesting.
Yeah, so that's how I got into the business.
So I definitely recommend all business leaders, and if they're looking for talent, somebody help from outside to talk to you and reach out to you and connect with you and have a conversation with you. Maybe you could give them different perspective on what they're doing with the recruitment and help them get to the next step. So where can people find you? How can they connect with you? How can they reach you?
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. Our site is dynamicsynergygroup.com, and you can connect with me via email, directly at abby@dynamicsynergygroup.com. And we would be delighted, or I would be delighted to discuss, some ideas, perhaps exchange some ideas. If you're in business and you're looking to hire some talent, we'd be delighted to chat with you about how we can help you with that, assist you with that. And if you're a candidate, likewise, on the job market, we would also be delighted to help you. One of the things that I'm also very excited about is that we also offer professional resume writing service for our candidates as well, that we launched last year as an added value, because we would cringe literally at some of the resumes, and we want our candidates to be at their best. So we provide a resume writing service as well, and also provide some career coaching as well, to provide some guidance. So
I think a lot of people can use your help. So, we record this video, and I'll make sure that your contact information is included in when we send the email out, so people can just click on a link and reach out to you. But I will definitely encourage everybody to, connect with you and get a different perspective of what they're doing.
Thank you so much, Gurmeet. It was a pleasure, and thank you for inviting me. And likewise, I'll share it as well once you send the video. And I truly appreciate this opportunity. Great discussion. And I hope that, you got a few tips, or I hope I was helpful in some way.
You are. Yeah, I think people are going to find a great
Wonderful
discussion. Thank you so much for your time, Abby.
Thank you. Enjoy. Okay, take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.
See you.